What's good, Jay Mejia?
So, what's going on, Carlos? What's up? So, I had to invite you like 5 times, right?
Oh, really? This is the first one I
Or
got.
yeah, and I'm on the Pro Max this time, no SE.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
You know, yeah,
What's good to everybody that's joining up? Last week, a mí me tocó de emergencia to be driving while you were on there just for a little bit. Now, ahora te
yeah,
tocó a ti.
yeah. A few hiccups today, but we didn't want to miss out on the live like we always do every Thursday. Um, Thanks everyone for joining in as always. Thank you to the new viewers. Thanks to all who has been watching the videos on YouTube and giving feedback via DMs. We really appreciate it, even on the comments. Um, Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's having a great week.
For real.
And how many of us are ready for Christmas and the holidays up ahead?
El afán of Christmas and the holidays.
Yeah, man.
I tell you.
But we're on.
Yeah, I can see a few people that have hopped on. 678 Josh. That's one of the youth that I pastor. Giving the
Nice,
fire
Josh. What's
sign.
going on, Josh?
What's good, Josh? Shout out to Josh.
Who else we got on? Who else? Let's see.
We got a few.
Yeah, we have Julie. What's up, Julie? Bree. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a great week. Thank you for being with us. So yeah,
And I think if you want, I think we're ready to rock and roll it.
yeah, we're ready. We're ready. So what's let's see, what's going down today? Blessings to you too, Julie. Thank you. Appreciate it, to you and your family. Much love. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. There's a
And there's
lot of
stuff
stuff
going
going
on
on.
all over the
Um,
place, bro.
what concerns me the most though is not so much of what's going on, is more of how people are taking it. How people are feeling about, everything that's taking place now. And when I mean everything, last week we got a little deep into the whole vaccine thing, uh, which we really didn't mean to, but um, the reason why we bring it up is because it's one of the main topics, that is really affecting a lot of people in terms of work, mental health, emotional, financial. It's really affecting a lot of people. Aside from that, we've already dealt with throughout the years. Again, what we spoke about was the violence that's been taking place, whether it's going on around us or directly to us. So, it's very critical the times that we're living in. We are living in interesting times, but I would also say critical as well, for us as adults and even for our youth, because we can actually see which way the world is going, right? Which, when I say the world, we're talking more in general, more of our leaders, right? But then it's how we react to it and how we take it that takes us to the place where we're gonna be, if that makes any sense.
I feel you.
How we react towards these things. So I think that's something that we should touch to start off. You know.
No, I think that's good. There's a lot that we're seeing there. I actually, as you were talking about that, there's something that came to mind. Um, one of the cities that has been a hot topic here for, like the vaccine mandates and everything, and now the face covering mandates and everything, right? Has been the city of Chicago, and it's actually real easy to look at the city of Chicago right now, and you could look at just the vaccine mandate. You could be like, all right, they just doing what they're doing with the vaccine, and that's it.
Yeah.
But somebody I saw brought up a great point, which was the following: yo, you're so tight about supposedly like the amount of people that might get infected, the amount of people that might die, right? In Chicago. But I actually saw somebody that was comparing the number of number one, the number of people that have gotten infected, and number two, the amount of casualties. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of y'all know this, and I think it's important because of what you're talking about, Jay Mejia. You're talking about, you know, crime and stuff like that that's happening in communities and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Increasing amounts of crime. And one of those things was, do you know how things go down in Chicago? Chicago is one of the worst places in the United States
That's a
for
fact.
gun violence. And not gun violence like, oh, some kid's gonna go shoot up a school. Now, we'll touch on that topic another day.
Retaliation, yeah.
We're talking about gun violence like in the streets, in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
like getting out of the hood. Like there's gun violence. There was a statistic where it's like they've had X amount of days with like an amount of like that they had a certain amount of gun violence every like at least once a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah, yeah.
people, I can't remember if it was that people got. I think it was people that were casualties as a regards in regards to gun violence. And it was this person went and they took those statistics and they put it up against the pandemic statistics in the city of Chicago. And when you compare the two, and you like try to factor, okay, which one is the real pandemic? Over there, the gun violence is more, you know, when you compare infected compared to amount of people that have been injured by the gun violence, it's almost comparable. In fact, I think the gun violence was ahead. And then when you talk about casualties, there's been more casualties from the gun violence. So it's like, where has the initiative been in terms of the gun violence? You know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes we got to wake up and really think like, yo, but hold up, what is really like, what's really good? What's really the issue? Because if we look at the city of Chicago, they've had this issue and they've had this issue for like decades, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's been ongoing. And I think it's important to mention because you can say, all right, but it's just Chicago. Well, you and me had a conversation. I moved out of New York, what, like 15 years ago now? Like
Yeah.
almost 15 years ago. And when I left, yo, the streets had been cleaned up for the most part. In at least you could say in Manhattan, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In hot spots in Manhattan, talking about Harlem, talking about Washington Heights, like near, you know, Inwood, all that stuff. For the most part, it had been cleaned up. It was never 100%, but for the most part, it was pretty cleaned up, especially compared to the violence that you had in like the 80s and the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It was a night and day difference. But yo, right now, you were sharing with me, I think it was yesterday, about how bad the violence has been getting. And it's like, yo, we're talking about things that haven't been seen in the longest.
Yeah, we're talking like Wild West. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's getting that bad. It's getting that bad. So, if you think about it, obviously there are people being affected, right? Those who are victims, even those are, you know, committing the crime. But aside from that, what about the fear, the stress that is putting on the others that live around the, you know, this type of violence? And that's what I always, you know, give thought, because I'm the type of person when I hear something, you know, I'm like, man, you know, it's sad that this is taking place. You know, what if my daughter's walking, you know, in that area, or someone that I know, or even someone that's watching right now? It's the same thing. You know, these thoughts, it goes through their head. You know, we've always been, like I said, I've always been the type to think and put myself in someone else's shoes, you know,
Right.
and it's horrible. And I know a lot of other people. So now, speaking of that type of stress, on top of like maybe someone who lost their job, on top of someone who might lose their job because of the vaccine, on top of someone that, you know, maybe they're not getting paid as much to be able to pay their bills, you know, we're always going through something, just at different levels, different battles, right? We all go through something, regardless if life is good or not. And the key is to, you know, maintain that health, you know, because if we're not doing good, nothing else is going to be doing good around us, right? People choose violence, right? Others people choose to harm themselves. Um, uh, People end up depressed. There's someone suffering from anxiety. It's different things that can happen in these type of environments, and the stuff that we deal with in it. And what I wanted to see is, like, which is why I want on our live for people to engage more. Maybe they can connect with us, to see how they're doing, because we can do all the talking all day, but if there's any way that we can actually communicate and talk about, how you're feeling, even if it's just simple hello, how's your week going. We don't have to talk anything specific. The main key here is for us to be healthy mentally, emotionally, financially, of course, spiritually, in every single way. So that's what we want to tackle, um every time we're on the live. Like I said, we never have specific topics. But yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are dealing with a lot. You know, we don't know how they. I'm one. That I've been dealing with a very stressful situation for the past 2 months. Ever since my car accident. So a lot of people won't know about it because I don't really post anything up. It's very rare for me to even post like my birthday. But ever since my car accident in October 28th to be exact, um, I've been put to a stop, and it did set me back specifically one way, but it felt like multiple ways, because it is a stressful situation. A lot of things change. Obviously, if you're even when you're well prepared, it's still a stressful situation, right? Because it's a
Yep.
setback. So you don't know what's going to happen, especially in a time that we're living. Like I said, we're living in interesting times. If many aren't aware, it's a bad time to get into an accident, right? But how are we going to know when we get into an accident? It's the reason why it's called an accident, right?
Yep.
So what I'm trying to say by that is, um it's the worst time because the market is horrible. you know right now, these dealerships, obviously for various reasons, they're taking advantage of the prices on the cars. They want to charge you double. You're basically paying two car notes in one. you know so just imagine paying a car note and just getting by. Imagine having to pay double for that car that you want, or even for a car that you don't want, right? You're
Yep.
still overpaying for a car. So that can also cause a lot of stress, just the thought of it. And it's like, okay, you can't just decide, maybe let me just wait around and see uh, when the market gets better. No, because you have a child or children to pick up from school. Or if you don't have children, you have to get to work. Or that's your way of making money. You
Yep.
still have to get somewhere. You know, God bless those that really don't need transportation, because they can use alternatives, public transportation, or even if they were to cab, to use a taxi. That's also costly. It does cost a lot, which is why people choose to get their own vehicles. So with that being said, I was going through, like, you know we all go through it. I'm still going through it, like stressful moments, because it's like, man, it's like wherever you turn, there's a door being shut, you know? And the one thing that I can say is that no matter what the situation is, we have to try and not get desperate, right? Because when you get desperate, it leads you to deception.
Yep.
So, uh, things do take time. Man, I was just making phone calls every day, making phone calls, searching on Google. I was looking through, state by state. Obviously, I started in New York because that's where I reside. But I was looking out in Jersey. I was looking out in PA, Connecticut. I was going through these states, and it's all the same problem, right? My
Yep.
last option was, let me go ahead and um, check Florida, and maybe just drive up. To make a long story short, I received a phone call. Um, Shout outs to Hennon, man. You know, I received a phone call, and it was this person didn't know about the accident, right? Because like I said, I don't post it. I don't. It's not like I'm gonna call around like, hey guys, I got into an accident. I don't do that. I just got to go ahead and handle business. You know, um, But making a long story short, this person told me, man, if I would have known sooner, I would have helped a lot sooner. You know, and sometimes, with that being said, sometimes we fail to reach out. For whatever it is, whether it's pride, whether it's just because of the person that you are, because sometimes it doesn't have to do with pride. Sometimes it's just that you don't you want to get everything on your own, or you don't want to bring problems to other people, your problems to other people, or whatever your reason is. But when I did say, yeah, man, I did get into an accident, um this person offered a car to me, not on sale. Not They were like, listen, I have something for you. It's been sitting for a while. We would have to take it over to get it checked and all that stuff. But with that being said, it's a true blessing, you know? And that made me think back of all the prayers, all the times that I was just thinking like, man, what's gonna happen? What am I gonna do? I just felt stuck. Like I said, there were a lot of doors being shut, no matter what I tried, it just seemed impossible. But mentally, like internally, I knew it wasn't impossible. Nothing. I got to a point in my life where, not because of this situation, because of many situations in the past, that I've told myself, nothing is impossible. You know,
Yep.
the main thing is to maintain your mental health, emotional, because if you don't have your health, there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do at that point, you know? So I'm very thankful, very grateful, truly blessed, did thank God many times when that happened, because it's an opportunity, regardless of how it goes. It's an opportunity. I mean, is it always when someone knocks on your door to say, hey, I have a car for you? Or, hey, uh, I have a bill that I want to pay for you? Or, hey, you end up receiving some money in the bank just randomly. These are blessings that don't just come out of nowhere, you know?
Yep.
So I felt like I had to put that out there, man. I felt like I had to put that out there.
No, and I think you definitely do, because you mentioned something. You've been going through it for about 2 months, and
Yeah.
I've talked to you about it before. The importance of testimony, when the Lord blesses you, if you're a believer, if you're somebody that does believe in Christ, I just want you to know, when the Lord blesses you, it's not something for you to keep to yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you need to share with others, with other believers, because they need to be able to know, like, like, if God's looking out for them, He's surely going to look after me, because I'm His child too, right? But on the flip side, if you're not a believer, I could tell you, it wasn't all that long ago that I could be hearing how somebody was blessed. I could hear a story just like what Jimmy had just shared right now, and my response would be like, yeah, sure, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, even as being a believer, I had never experienced it myself, so it was easy for me to be like, all right, like, if you say so, that's gonna happen. But at the same time, it's because people were not really, for the most part, were not testifying. At least not people that were close to me. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen it in my own life. I'm telling you, I've gone from being somebody that was like, I don't believe it, to seeing God move in people's lives, where it was like, yo, people close to me were now testifying, and I knew their situation. You know what I'm saying? I knew what was going on with that
Mm-hmm.
person. Just like Jay Mejia shared right now. In fact, God has even blessed me to the point where He has allowed me, Jay Mejia knows I testified this one time before, He's had me bless somebody that I didn't, He was just like, yo, God was just like, I'm putting it in you. You got to give this amount of money to this person, or you got to hit up this person because they need this, they need that, whatever. And God has had me be the one with the outreach, and I don't know anything about that person's situation. Point blank, period. Some of these people have been people I haven't even spoke to in years. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, yo, how you doing? I'm all right. No, hold up. I know you're not doing all right. How you really doing? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't talked about that, but God has shown me like they're not doing well. So when I find out how they're really doing, when I ask that question, it's like, yo, hold up. You see the demeanor change, You see the mask gets taken off. They're sharing the true story. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, actually, I'm going through this. I'm going through that. And I'm like, yo, it's crazy that you sharing that because I've never gone through this, but here you go. God wanted me to send this to you. Like, he gave me an exact amount. And yo, I've heard people be like, yo, this is exactly what I needed for rent. This is exactly what I needed for this bill that was going to get shut off. This is exactly this and that and whatever. And it's like, I had no idea. I was given the message that that person needed to get something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's been a blessing to hear that in your case, it's like, you didn't share nothing. You didn't share anything. I just know that you would call me week after week and or rather every few days, and you would be like, yo, I hit up these dealerships. I checked out this car. I called this one. I was willing to settle for this lesser car. And now I'm willing to settle for a car that's even lesser than that and lesser than that and lesser than
Nothing
that. It was like
available. Nothing.
everywhere you were going, it was like, boom, like the door shut in your face. You weren't going to get anything. You know what I'm saying? That's not what God wanted for you. And it just reminds me real quick, there's a verse that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. Pay attention to that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. I'm going to give you a different translation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. So it's real easy for us to be like, yo, pero ¿por qué se están cerrando toda esta puerta? Like, why are all these doors closing on me? Like, what's going on? Like, why is it that I'm trying to make things happen on my own and this door closes and that door closes and there's none of this and there's none of that? There was even a point, correct me if I'm wrong, where one of the dealership could have taken you easy because you could have been desperate. And even when have you heard a car salesman be like, yo, don't do it? They're trying to sell you a car and it's overpriced and they're like, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, for real, don't do it. That does not happen. But when God gets mixed into everything, it's like, boom, I'm going to shut the door on your face. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is not the doorway for you. So it's good for you to understand that. And we've always talked about needing to have peace. And that's where it reminds me as well of another verse, or excuse me, another verse. Yeah, I'll give you a pretty good translation of it. Another verse in which it says, you know, and if God cares so wonderfully for flowers that are here today and gone tomorrow, won't he surely care more for you, you know, you of little faith? So don't worry about having enough food, enough clothing. Why be like the heathen, for they take pride in all these things and are deeply concerned about them. But your heavenly Father already knows perfectly well that you need them. So in this case, it's like God knew that you needed a car. He knew that you had to work. Like, in order to do what you do, you needed a car. There was not, you know, it's not like you were going to find any way around it. You needed a mode of transportation. This was the mode of transportation because it's not like you could take a bike. It's not like you could buy a motorcycle. Yeah, you could do that. But if you did that, doors were going to shut in terms of what you needed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like, but what you did was every time that I would talk to you, it would be like, I have peace. I have peace in this. The door's shut. It's not easy. I'm not saying that Jay Mejia was like, oh, everything's perfect. Nah. Everything wasn't
I was
perfect.
stressed out, man.
You know, you were stressed out. You weren't a happy camper, but you just knew that God was doing something, so you had peace. You know what I'm saying? And look at what happens at the end. You know, just to put it into perspective, I shared with Jay Mejia yesterday the blessing that this was, because it was like, you don't got to pay the car note. You know what I'm saying? Your insurance is going to be less. And on top of that, whenever the market goes back to normal, the market is going to be flooded with cars that have been sitting in parking lots for the longest, waiting for computer chips.
A lot of incentives and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's going to be incentives like crazy. So it's like you're going to be able to get a car like you got, if not better, for less money than what you were paying now. But right now, in the heat of a pandemic, you get a break. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, look at the perspective. Very easily, anybody could be like, but this is not the car I want to be in, though. You know, you could very easily put your blessing in the garbage, cast it to the side, and be sour and be complaining. Why did this happen to me? Yo, we have a lot of people like that. Why did this happen to me? Why do I lose this? Why do I lose that? But change your mindset, change your way of thinking. Yo, what is God saving you from? For all you know, in 6 months, you might need something else that if you had been spending all this money on a whip, where's the, what is that money that you're saving going to be used for? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Something else can happen where it's like, yo, I needed that money right now. Maybe it's not something bad that happens. Maybe it's another blessing. Maybe somebody's like, yo, I have this house for you, but you got to give this down payment. But it's a steal of a house. Yo, that's money that I got a chance to save up for the down payment. Boom, I'm gonna put it
Mm-hmm.
down. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But it's a matter of perspective. And number one, the question is, do you trust God? Right now, to anybody that's watching right now, if you don't believe, why are you not believing? Think about that for a minute. And if you do believe, right, do you not think that God is shutting doors in your life for any particular reason, but you might be stressed about it? Instead of being stressed about it, completely stressed about it and depressed and looking at that from that perspective, have you ever stopped to think like, yo, but what is God saving me from right now? Like, what is he trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Because imagine in Jay Mejia's case, in his case, if he would have gotten that whip, would have overpaid by a few hundred every month, which means by the end he's paying a few thousand extra, like, maybe $5,000, $10,000 extra.
Crazy amount.
And then
Yep.
somebody, yeah, and then imagine that this person comes to you, yo, you got a new car. What happened? Accident. Yo, you overpaid for the car in this market. I would have had another car for you. Imagine you
That
would
would.
feel
Yep.
like, yo, why did I just force myself into this? You know what I'm
Which is,
saying?
yep. That's
There was
right.
no advantage for me here, but you stayed in God's peace. Yo, at the end of the day, for anybody that's watching, God, wherever God is, you're going to find peace. It's not going to say that you're going to find perfection and you're going to be happy, but you're going to be like, I could be at peace where I am because I know that he's doing something. Think about that for a second and change your perspective a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people right now not looking at the benefits, not looking at the perspective of like why is this not going the exact way that I want right now? What's the purpose behind that? Jay Mejia knows I've had some trials here for a while now where it's like things out of my control, and it's like one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing
Mm-hmm.
after another thing, and anybody else would be like, yo, you must be cursed. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes when Jay Mejia hears of some of the stuff that's happens to me, he's like, I'm sure to some degree he's like, but dang, when's that rain gonna stop pouring? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I know that God is doing something. In all of that, midst of that storm, God is doing something. And doesn't the brightest sunlight, doesn't that rainbow come after like the worst storm? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That rainbow right there, that's God's promise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That rainbow is
Eh,
God's promise. So his promise comes right after the worst storm.
yeah. And one thing that another message in this is not to force anything. Don't force yourself into making any decision in general. Don't force yourself in any relationship. Don't force yourself into any career path. Don't force yourself into any job. Like, just don't uh force it. Sometimes we do make sacrifices, but as long as you
Yeah.
understand that within and you feel comfortable with making that sacrifice, which is, what, I don't like this workplace, but I have to do it because it's what's bringing the money in. It's paying the bills. It's putting food on the table. My children are good. I just have to work on better. Maybe let me just, be here for 3 months and, you know, head out onto another field. Nowadays it's not that easy, which is what I'm saying. You know, don't beat yourself up.
Yep.
I'm and many of us, not only myself, because I'm not the only one in this world, who are prime examples of why to keep pushing and never settle for less or force yourself into a settlement that you really don't want. You know, again, it's all about the mental health. It's all about your emotional health. Imagine how you're gonna feel if you force yourself into something. You know, you're gonna be in a world full of regret if you force yourself into anything. You know what I mean? In general, it doesn't have to be material. Like, it's, onto someone else, onto something else. You're gonna
There's
feel
people who
regret.
force themselves into relationships because they're like, yo, there's nobody's interested in me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All these things go wrong, so I'm gonna settle to be with this person. Yo, how
and you
many
don't know
times
what
have you
comes
seen
with that.
somebody settle? Yeah, how many times have you seen somebody settle, and because they settle, they already go into the relationship like the
Mm-hmm.
scale is like this. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
this person that settled is all the way down here, and the other person's all the way up here, because this person already came in not feeling that they were worth it. So they feel like they
Mm-hmm.
settled to be with this person over here. They should have been at equal, you should enter that relationship equally, like on equal footing. But because you felt
Mm-hmm.
like I don't deserve anybody, that's why nobody's interested in me. That's why people always leave. That's why people always abuse me. That's why people this, people that. All of a sudden, you put that other person up here. The moment that you put somebody up on a pedestal, that you put them up higher than you, that's a recipe, an absolute recipe for the disaster of relationship, because you're
Yeah.
putting that person higher than yourself. When at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
y'all should be equal. You know what I'm saying? You guys should have that equal footing, because it's a relationship. Y'all are doing this together, not this person over you. You know what I'm saying? Just look at that. People settle. That's a result of
That's
people
right.
settling.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is gonna sound funny, right? But it's really not. And many people know this. This is the time, actually, right? Yeah, it's the holidays, but this is actually the time where people label it the cuffing season, right? Where usually, you know, what is there to do? Depending where you're living, obviously, because I'm in New York, so it's cold out here. So this is the season that they call the cuffing season, where, all jokes aside, people are forcing themselves into relationships, or there's people that don't have homes, right? And they want to go ahead and, oh, she lives alone. Let me go ahead and take advantage of that. Or he
Yep.
lives alone. You know what I'm saying? It's vice versa, you know? And I know in the beginning it sounded funny when we're saying, but a lot of people know what cuffing season is. What I'm hoping is that a lot of people wake up, you know, because you're setting yourself up for failure. And even though you tell yourself it's temporary, temporary damage can become permanent, or
Yep.
long term. Not even, I let me rephrase that. Not permanent. It can be long term. Sometimes permanent, right? You don't know where it's gonna take you, and then that'll also affect other areas in your life, because the whole point of you having someone is to have a healthy relationship. Does it doesn't have to be a partner. It's even friendships. When we say relationships, we speak in general. Um, think about it. It does affect you in some way. So you have to be very selective, very, very,
Yep.
very, very selective as to who you give your time to, or who you're spending time with.
Yep. And I'm
You
even
know.
thankful that you mentioned, it's not just about partners, because it's about friendships as well. Because there's a lot of people that get stuck in toxic friendships, like absolute toxic friendships, where it's like, yo, there's nothing good for you in that friendship at all, but you in there because you maybe feel lonely. So it's like, oh, at least I got this person that pays attention to me. But that could be a friend who takes advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? That they take advantage of your
Mm-hmm.
friendship. They might use you for money. They might use you to make themselves feel better. They might get you into different kinds of issues. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you don't you're too busy putting a blind eye to the toxic relationship that you have in that friendship, just because you so afraid of being at home alone with nobody to talk to. So you go and you attend to that toxic friendship that you have. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that, because it's not just about it's not just about partners. It could be friends. It could be even family. That's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
all across the board.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to the whole thing with prepping yourself, you have to be ready for things to happen. You know, in and out of relationships. What we just finished mentioning, hardships. One thing that came to mind when this week, actually, recently, yesterday, the day before yesterday, is how no matter how ready you think, how prepared you think you are, uh, you would always have to like really work on on strengthening, the love that you have for yourself, the care, focusing on it, because many things can happen with other people or with other things. And when I say other things, that can be, situations in general, in and out of work. So And that's one thing that we focus on in our platform. We want to
Yep.
keep reminding everyone when we have these type of conversations, it's to engage, it's to so we can all relate, if anyone relates to it, or maybe not even yourself. It might happen to you a few weeks from now, a few days, a few months, but you may know someone that's going through it. you know what should you do? Let them know what's going on with the platform. We discuss everything. And again, we're very transparent because we don't have to put our stories out there. you know
Yep.
we really don't. But we're here not to put a front, or an image, which is the correct way to say it, because what do we see on social media? It's a lot of stuff that we see on social media, that's a lie. you know and speaking of social media, which that came to mind, um I also wanted to put out there, uh for people not to force, since we're talking about forcing yourself into situations or things. I feel like there's people out there that post the good moments just to show that they're good, trying to prove themselves to others. You know, when really behind the scenes, they're actually going through it. What am I trying to say by that? By saying that is, make sure that whenever you post something on social media, post it because you want to post it. Post it because you're really happy. Post it because you're really down, and maybe this post can help someone else. You know, so it's something to think about whenever you're posting on social media. Don't just post to put a front or an image. Be real with yourself and be real with others.
As you said that, it just brought to mind a lot of people like to put the filters, when they take their selfies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Social media is the perfect place where people filter their life. Like, it's very easy to just take a snapshot of one thing. Again,
Yeah.
we know people who put up images that it's like, bro, you have nothing to do with that kind of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it's just like, imagínate, anybody could take a picture right in front of a Lambo in a parking lot and be like, yo, chilling in the Lambo with my peoples today.
Success.
You know what I'm saying?
Success. Yep.
And the sad thing is that the same way that person puts up that Lambo, they're not even sitting in the Lambo. They're just in front of the Lambo, like, oh. And next thing you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like you start thinking, yo, this person is in the Lambo. I wonder who they were chilling with in the Lambo. Yo, they must have friends with money. Yo, if they got friends with money, they probably they're probably being very successful. You know, especially when you continuously see pictures like that, pictures where they might be supposedly at an airport, or they're always at a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
or they're always they always got these girls around. You know, you might look at that and you might be like, wow, yo, I want to be like that dude who's always got all them girls around. Like, he's always at this place, all that, always at that place. He's always going to this country. He's always going to that country. He's always flying to this state. I see that he's in Vegas. People recycling their vacation pictures. And some people don't even realize the recycling game is real. They took 2,000 pictures and they drop one every year to make you think that they somewhere else. I
Yep.
mean, the stunting game is real. That filter is real. And the sad thing is people fall for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're busy comparing your life to somebody's filter life, and it ain't even real, bro.
Yep. That's
Not at
right.
all. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. But yeah,
So
with all this that we're discussing that's going on, it can and will affect us in the long run. So we have to be, aware of that. And something that I'm noticing, this is episode 4. We always tend to bring up the social media, right? Because it does have a big part in our discussion, and obviously it works out because new viewers, that way they know what type of topics that we bring up. But it's really where everyone is connected to nowadays. You know, you receive you're connected to everyone and the good and bad news on it. You know, so you know it's going to affect you somehow. So you know it's something that we have to bring up continuously. Another reminder too, if other people can agree, we really encourage for youth, you know, your children to even join. Eventually, we're trying to focus on them a lot more, you know, molding them, and you know, so they can hear what we have in mind, what our intentions are, what our experiences are, you know, because they can also learn from it. So we really encourage for you know, for your kids to join. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yep, and definitely pay attention to your kids on that kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
yo, your kids are being indoctrinated and you don't even have a clue. You know,
Mm-hmm.
be mindful. You know, you got that. It's easy to have your kids be babysat by an iPad or by a phone. You know what I'm saying? And you got
Yeah.
no idea what they're doing on there. It's not trying to be negative in the least bit. It's being real. You know, I can't tell you how many times. Really, think about it this way: how many times you had your kids on the iPad or on their phone? You don't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this a few years ago, Joaquin. I think this was like 2 years ago when all the parents were freaking out because there was Momo was showing up on YouTube and YouTube Kids and telling kids to go cut themselves and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what happened? The moment that people heard, oh, Momo, right? For those of
Oh, I
y'all,
remember
y'all
that. I
don't
remember
know,
that.
you know, for those of y'all that don't remember or weren't aware of it, it was supposedly a weird character looking thing, and it was popping up in the middle of kids' Peppa Pig videos and stuff like that.
I
And
think
it
they
was
caught
telling
the
the
person,
kids,
no?
my man, it was all a hoax. But the thing is that all the parents were freaking out because it was starting to go viral. The hoax was starting to go viral. And then what happened? Oh my goodness, no, I gotta really watch what my kids are watching. Yo, you shouldn't be reacting to what your kids are watching. You should be alert to what your kids are watching. What happens with you and your kids in terms of their watching habits should not be a reaction. Because by the time that it's a reaction, it might be too late for your reaction. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It might be way too late for your reaction. Your kid might do something real dumb or already start getting programmed a certain way about certain
Yeah.
things. And it's like, and you got there mad late because you reacted. You see what I'm saying? You
And
didn't
there's
put
a lot
action
that can
to it
take
first.
place.
You reacted. There was no
Yeah.
action, there was reaction. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is that taking action means you're taking time. Taking reaction is now an emergency situation in most cases. You feel me? So really, you know, this is something positive for your kids, but at the same time, I just want to tell you, be more involved with what your kids are doing because you don't want to have to react to a situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God gave you your kids for a reason. If you have children, God gave you your kids for a reason. You are in charge of your kids. You are to take care of your kids. That don't mean that you have to be your kid's friend. You know what I'm saying? You should be a great father or mother to your child. That doesn't mean that you need to be their best friend, you know, because that's the problem. A lot of people want to try and be best friends, and as a result, they're reacting to what happens afterwards, you know, and then it's like, oh snap, this happened. Let's not let it get to that point, for real.
Yeah, and they have to, you know, stay communicating with their kids. You know, it's something that I look at. You know, Liani's 4 years old, going on 5, but I'm like, in everything, I'm always like 5 years ahead, right? I'm always thinking ahead.
Yeah,
Like, what am I gonna do? You know, and we all know things won't turn out the way we think sometimes, but right, we have to have that vision anyway, right? Just to stay on track. One thing that I say is stay close to our children. We have to. Reason why I also brought up that whole thing with the youth. I forgot. There's a YouTuber who's 21, who just turned 21, who committed suicide. She committed
really.
suicide, Yeah, and you want to know how? So the way that I came across this information, I was going through a list of um, it was articles of how like people passed away, like famous people. Some were, natural cause, others were diseases, cancer, right? Stuff like that. So the message that I got from that is, like we said, what was it, last episode or the second episode? Life is short, you know. So
Yep.
many thoughts come when we say that to ourselves or say that to someone else. Life is short, so we have to be very careful. And sometimes it's shorter for others, because of nonsense. So back to the case with the YouTuber, she was going through cyber bullying. She was being bullied online, and she got tired of it, and she was beautiful. And the one message that she left was, what was it? I think it's, I've never been good for anyone, because they would comment on her plastic surgery, on the changes that she made to her body. Instead of people getting at her, you know, she needed people maybe to just say, hey, listen, you're beautiful regardless, with or without it, you know, or keep this to yourself and say, man, she must have done that because she didn't feel comfortable with herself, you know, what might have happened uh, in that process, right? Before she did what she did with the surgeries and stuff. I don't want my child to go through that, you know, especially, having a girl who's gonna soon be a
Yeah.
woman, it's especially, and I say both men and women need the same attention, you know,
Yeah.
it's
No.
just being
Absolutely.
open and connected.
This goes back to what you and I talked about. It was something that came in passing, I think, a couple of weeks ago, here on the same program, and it's that the cases of dysmorphia are going up dramatically. And dysmorphia, for those of y'all that don't know,
Hmm.
is when you are like, no, I need to look like this. You know what I'm saying? Especially nowadays that you have filters for like all these pictures. I know a lot of teenagers, especially, but grown people as well, that full blown adults who don't normally take a picture, just a picture on their phone. Like, oh, I'm just gonna pull up the camera app, take a picture, boom, done.
Hmm.
A lot of people take it in Snapchat or take it in Instagram so they can mess with the filter, or have an app on their phone to take the picture and then afterwards bring it into the app and work with the picture to change it to whatever they want it to look like. And as a result, it's like you already set an image of like, this is what I should look like, is what's in my filtering, what I'm editing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you start to believe, I think the best way to put it, you start to believe that you should look like the avatar that you created for yourself than your real self. You're more happy
Hmm.
with your avatar than you are yourself. And your avatar, you could think, oh, you must be talking like, some video game or something like that, like the character I created. Nah. When you go and you're consistently working with filters and stuff like that to make yourself look a certain way, and that's like, it's consistent, yo, in reality, you're making an avatar for social media because nobody ever gets to see the real you. You know what I'm saying? And then there comes the
Yeah,
point
yeah,
in which what you got in your head is that this is what I should look like. This is what I should be. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
it saddens me that you mentioned this about this YouTuber because, you know, something like that makes you think, okay, if you got the plastic surgery, why did you get the plastic surgery to begin with anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, did you do it for you? Because you really wanted to do this, you really wanted to look this way? Did you do it because um, it was a health issue? Was it regarding a health issue? Was it just
Yeah.
this is what I want, or did you feel cyberbullied into, yo, I don't like how my eyes are set, and I don't like how my nose looks, and my chin could be a little different, and my cheekbones could be like this, and I always want this certain color in my cheeks, so I'm gonna get this done, and I feel like I need this filler in my lips. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got all this stuff that you start to program into yourself because it's like, I notice that I get likes when I put up a picture of my avatar. You know what I'm saying? Of what I supposedly look like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you don't even look like that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't know if you remember this. Just to throw it out there, it was a little funny, just to make you laugh a little bit. Jay Mejia, do you ever remember that movie with Jamie Foxx, Booty Call?
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah. That's a
part where
classic.
Jamie Foxx near the very beginning, he's like, "Hold on, we need good light." And his homie's like, "Why do you need good light?" And he's like, "Man, have you ever gone to the club and the girl looks all nice and all this stuff?" You're like, "But you got the bad light. But she got the makeup, she got this, she got that. Like she got all the stuff. It's like she's filtering herself with the makeup. Plus, she knows the light hits her a certain way. Those club lights hit you a certain way. You look different." So he's like, "Yo, so you all excited? You got this date. You're gonna take her out to eat, and then you pull up to the front of the building, and out comes this she donkey. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and you're just like, but what happened? She didn't look like that in the club. But nah, it's because she had the makeup, she had certain things, and she had
Yep,
those club lights, and she kind of knew how to work it, where all that stuff worked together, and you look a certain way. And that's how people doing it for real now, but in social media. And it's like the
yep,
next step is like, if nobody really likes me, think about this for a second. If you get 100 likes on a picture that you put up, but not one person compliments you when you put on some makeup, or maybe you don't even put on makeup, you just go out, out, and nobody even says, "Yo, you look great today, you look pretty today, you look this today, you look that today, I like your clothes." Not one person tells you anything. Your body is set, your mentality is set. The 100 likes must be right, because nobody said anything about me personally. You know what I'm saying? So what happens? I need to look like what the 100 likes was, you know? And then what happens is you get people that get plastic surgery done, expecting that they're gonna look like Kylie Jenner and end up looking like a Ninja Turtle when they get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't look right. There's always something that looks fake. There's always something that
yep.
looks off. So really, you gotta
So yeah,
watch
and
yourself.
this type of damage is not some, not for all. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that's been building
Hmm.
up from time to time,
It's
which is why we
gradual.
always
It's
go back
gradual.
to the youth. To the youth, because sometimes we may not know what our children are going through in school.
Yep.
Because another thing for everyone to keep in mind is, oh, the image of going to a teacher, and snitching on that student that's making fun of me or making me feel uncomfortable or saying this to me. They might have that image and they may feel the same way with their parents, which is us. Which is why if we approach them to feel comfortable, listen, I'm not gonna say anything, but how's school? Is everything okay? How's everyone treating you? How are you treating others? Because you can't only think about them. How are they treating you, and how are you treating others also? Because if we want respect, we have to give respect as well, right? And when it comes time to defend our children or child, the best thing is make sure that you implement respect in them so they can give it to others. It gives you more fuel and more reason to defend them. You know,
Yep.
you got to hear both sides, right? And correct either side. Um, but it's very important. It's very important for us to stay connected with them. We don't want to hear these type of stories where this person committed suicide or this person is like heavily depressed, suffering from anxiety. And it's simply because sometimes we fail to be there. And sometimes it's not even our fault. It's just that we don't know, which is why the best thing to do is approach and
Yep.
ask. You know,
And if you
so
ever thought about streaming, it's something for you to think about too. Or if your kids are interested in streaming, if you know youth that are interested in streaming, it's something to really think about, because I know in the last few years there's been a number of suicides with social media, icons or social media influencers, right?
mhm.
Sometimes it's the cyberbullying that goes on. A lot of times that is the case, but you also have to think, when you are doing this, there is something that you're giving. As the person who's streaming, there's something that you're giving, right? You're giving effort, you're giving energy, you're giving a part of you. There's things that you're doing to put things out there. You might make yourself vulnerable. to some degree. In other cases, you've got people that do dumb stuff on social media because they figure like if I make myself a dummy, people are gonna laugh, and if I get those laughs, I get that like, and if I get that like, then that makes me feel good. So
Mm-hmm.
to some degree, you give your dignity in exchange for likes. That's why
Yeah.
if you look, the majority of the time, stupid stuff goes viral. You know, but
Yep.
it comes at a cost. And then what happens is, who's there for those people? Who's there for those people when you're giving that energy, when you're giving your dignity, when you're giving all these different kind of things? And that doesn't just go to social media. That might even go towards relationships you might have. If all you're doing is giving and there's not anything coming back, that's like a one-way street. You're giving, you're giving, you're giving. At some point, you're going to get drained, you know?
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to get drained. And this is why it's important to watch your kids too, because your kids might be seeking attention from you and you ain't giving them no attention. They're going to end up around people, that are going to give them attention, but for the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm. And go down the wrong path.
For real.
Go down the wrong path. But yeah, that's life, and that's what we're here to talk about, because we go through it, we've gone through it. I'm sure you have, or you know someone who has. The more we push this platform, the more people it'll help, the more we appreciate it, the bigger the change will be, the shift, which is the word that we want to focus on, the shift. It's only right. It's only right with everything that's taking place.
Yep.
Yeah, man, and let's see who's on right now. I want to know who's ready for Christmas, right? I want to know who's ready for Christmas, how everyone's feeling.
I think people are ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people doing their last minute. Don't stress out too much with that last minute. For real, for
Mm-hmm.
real.
The last minute
It
shopping.
could be a lot of stress for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I
A
did
lot
that
of stress
myself.
for no reason.
Oh, look, Julie said, I'm ready to leave this cold weather. Julie, big shout outs to Julie, man. Yes, I agree. Carlos, what did I tell you the other day? Yesterday. I've been saying it. I've been
Yep.
saying it. But I feel the same way. I'm tired of the cold weather. I'm tired of New York, man. To be honest. I'm just
Yeah,
tired of it.
it's tough to have this what was it, 82-degree weather today.
Yeah, thanks. I really
Nice
appreciate
and
it.
sunny.
Yep. You know what?
It's all love. Leaving.
Julie, you're out in Florida, right? You still out in Florida? I think Julie's in Florida. She's in Florida, but she might be wanting to move, like, you know, with Caribbean, one of those islands or something.
For real, for real.
Yeah, thank you everyone who's watching. Okay, so she's in New York. She's in New York right now. So she's in New York. Okay, that explains why she wants to leave the cold weather. Yep. That it makes sense. She's here for the holidays. She's here for the holidays.
Okay. There we go. There we
Nice,
go.
Julie. Nice. But yeah, I think we can wrap up here, right?
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
give it
Yes,
some
sir.
time if anyone want to engage, if they want to say
Um,
anything. In the meantime, again, hope everyone is well, having a great day, even though the day is almost over. Just having a great week overall. Stay strong, be very patient, have faith, put those prayers out there,
that's right.
heavy, because we'll be doing it.
And as always, if you need prayer, if you have something that you want to share, or you feel that you need some prayer, let us know. We let you know. It's not just about prayer here. We heard some crazy testimony, which hopefully, and maybe in the next few weeks, we'll be able to share. But let me just tell you, the prayer that we've had here, God's been working, man. The things that we've been able to see, that people have shared with us, it's like, it's amazing. So we know that God is doing something here. So just know, if you do need prayer, if you have any prayer requests or anything like that, it doesn't have to be on here. You can always hit the DM as well. And we're
That's
here
right.
for that.
Yes. Yes. And don't forget, every Thursday we'll be on 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. We will be on
East
every
Coast.
Thursday, which in fact next week we will be on before the day before New Year's Eve.
That's right.
New Year's Eve. So I encourage everyone to, link up with us. Just connect with us. Let others know. Promo. You know what I mean? Just pass it on. Let other people know what we're doing. Not only for ourselves, for others. For us.
Yeah, I think
Um,
next week, with it being right before New Year's, I would even say it could be a good week where maybe spend the next week talking about thinking about how you want to go into the new year. Look
yeah.
at evaluate yourself for this year, see where you feel that you've done well, think about where you feel that you've come short, right? Just be honest with
Hmm.
yourself on that. This is not to make you feel bad. None of us want to feel bad about it. It's about gauging where we're at and figuring out where we want to go. Because if we know where we're at, we can better ourselves to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So I would encourage people, take this next week, evaluate all of that, and think about how you want to go into 2022 strong. And
Yeah.
let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. We can talk about how you want to go in strong, and at the same time, we get a chance to even pray for you so that you go into it strong, focused, ready to go, leaving anything that you've been disappointed about, leaving that behind, and moving forward with what God wants to do with you in 2022. So that could be a great focus for next week, is pushing into that new year.
Yeah. And it's something that we'll do. We'll get into details. We'll definitely get into details. Next week's episode on Thursday. I think it's very important. One thing that I believe is this whole thing of the new year, new me. You know, I do believe that to a certain extent, because I feel like you don't have to wait for the new year to be the new you. So that's something that I was going to bring up next week. So I'm really hoping that you guys connect. There's a lot to talk about. Everything we've been talking about, along with some new stuff, as Carlos mentioned, with the new year. So let's get ready for it.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, God bless you guys. We thank you for being on. Like J. Mejia said, continue to share it, continue to post it. This will be up on YouTube here in a few hours, so you can easily share to anybody that does not have Instagram, and just move it forward so it could be a blessing to other people, because there's a lot of people that need to be uplifted, especially right now, because I think we're only seeing the beginning of what may be happening this winter. So better to go strong than to expect to be strengthened while you're going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Or as you're already in it. Excuse me. Be
Prep.
strong going into it, as opposed to get strong while you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
God will work both ways, but let's be proactive instead of reactive.
That's right. I strongly agree. Amen to that.
All right, that's what's up.
Sounds good.
Well,
All right. Let me see.
God bless
Julie,
you, Jay Mejia. Let's see. We got something from Julie.
likewise. Oh, Saturday she leaves to DR. Julie, have a safe flight.
Safe
Um,
trip. Be blessed out there too.
yeah, and if I remember correctly, she's gonna do her thing out there in DR. It's not so much of a vacation. She's gonna go volunteer as well. She's doing some stuff. She started her own business. She brought that up the last session we were on. So
That's right.
God bless. Good luck with that. Keep doing your thing, and just stay positive.
Yeah.
Um, and strong. You know, believe in it and everything that you're doing. Because everything that we're doing ourselves, we believe in it, regardless of other people believing in it or not. So we really wish you well, man. For
Yeah,
real.
God
Have a
bless
safe
your
flight.
hands and God bless your hands and feet as you walk and do everything that you put your hands to out there. Give you a clear mind, laser focus on what you're doing, and just bless your business.
Yeah, yeah. And let me see. I think, amen to that, Julie. God is great. Yes. And let's see. Mommy's on. Bendición, mommy. Bendición,
Bendición,
mommy. Love
tía.
you. Let me see. We have Bree. Blessings to you, Bree. Blessings to you. Hope all is well with you and your family out there.
Awesome,
All right, so
awesome.
we're good.
I
Yeah,
think we're
we're good.
good.
So yeah, happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays. Enjoy. Stay safe. Spend time with the family. Cherish.
Yes, yes.
We have to take advantage of these moments, as most of us know. Life is short. We've experienced that, both internal and external, and let's take advantage. You know, let's enjoy it.
Amen to that. You guys have a blessed Christmas. Enjoy, like we said, that time with that family. You don't get that back. You know, enjoy your family and your friends. You don't get that back. Be safe out there as well. And just be blessed. You know, we just want you guys to be blessed over these holidays and always.
We appreciate you guys. Next week. See you guys next week.
Be blessed.